So I wouldn't say that we have a bias on this podcast, but we do spend a lot of time talking about Marvel. We've talked about the MCU. We tend to gear towards Marvel because I think that's kind of where both Matt and I have really sort of fallen in with our primary fandom when we first got into comics, and that tends to stick with you. It tends to stick with you through life. But today, we've got some questions about what the hell is going on at DC Comics, and by extension, the DC EU, which is their I'm going to air quote this one, their connected cinematic universe, if you can call it that. Now, Matt told me I didn't need to prepare for this. He just wants to get my opinion on some things, and to me that says he just wants to wind me up and watch me spin. So there might be some venom getting spit in Warner Brothers DC's direction by yours truly. But with that being said, I'm gonna let Matt kind of steer this one to wherever we end up going.
So I would agree with you and what you said to start the episode for sure about Marvel is like the floor. That's the entertainment that I knew. That was the comics I initially read. But I definitely grew a pretty quick fondness for DC as well too. And I think you do as well too. Like before we go on our rants, and there's probably going to be rants and all that, like I want DC to be successful. Like I don't think either of us are actively rooting against DC. My man's wearing a Green Lantern shirt. Like we were all in on that DC like Green Lantern.
I got Hal Jordan behind me on the desk.
Yeah, like you got statues, you got t-shirts. I had like 3 of those different. I had the Sinestro Corps shirt. I used to rock that thing.
I remember that. I got a picture of you and me.
Yeah.
At a comic convention, you in the Sinestro shirt, me wearing a Dex Star shirt from the Red Lanterns, standing next to an Incredible Hulk standee, but that's neither here nor there.
But I'm just saying that to say that we have love for DC. It's not just like hate.
I have love for DC characters.
Okay.
But DC, I feel the same way about DC that DC has clearly proclaimed they feel about me, which is they don't really give a shit.
So let's start with that. We're comics fans. DC, did you know on Monday? Well, before we even get to that, it's going to be one of those episodes. Got to crack a Coors Light here.
On a Wednesday night? We're recording this one on a Wednesday.
On a school night.
On a school night, my man cracked a Coors.
Who tapped the Rockies? That's so bad. I know you don't drink, my straight edge best friend, but that's a bad beer. But I'm going to drink it anyway. Okay, never mind.
Hey, man, when you're straight edge, every beer is a bad beer.
That's true.
So I agree with you.
So on the DC, did you know, I think it was Monday this week, DC dropped from their website comics. It's just now DC.
What does that mean?
So when you type DC comics, and this is the hot take I want. This is why I'm glad you didn't do any research. So it's just DC now.
Well, I mean, Marvel kind of does the same thing, don't they? Like Marvel is the brand now. Like
true. That's like, a good.
You think your average person, they talk about Marvel. They don't talk about Marvel Comics.
True.
So to go in the other direction, this could also just be more of DC trying to like do what Big Brother's been doing.
Yes.
And do it unsuccessfully.
I think it's just a very symbolic thing that when you type in DC Comics, it just takes you to DC. There's no DC Comics anymore. I'm pretty sure if you type in Marvel Comics, it might take you to marvel.com. But I just think that's very symbolic of how much the publishing line might mean to DC.
So clearly doesn't mean much.
Yes. So kind of how we got here. Was it Time Warner Communications had bought DC. So a cell phone company, or AT&T bought DC. So a cell phone company essentially owned DC Comics, which
AT&T is more than a cell phone company, really. I mean,
it's a conglomerate organization, a large organization, and DC was under its umbrella. But a cell phone company owned DC Comics, man.
I mean, if you want to distill it down to that, I get technically, I guess you're correct in some capacity, I suppose.
Yeah, so
it was a little bit cherry picked, but I'll let it slide.
So now DC was sold off to Discovery, so it's a Warner Discovery kind of merger. And with that, the only reason I'm saying this is they have a new kind of CEO in the house called named David Zaslav, and he's been doing this. I feel like the past, no, it's been longer than that, but the past couple months, he's really been like outspoken about kind of like what he's doing. Especially there was like an owner, a shareholders call this week, so definitely had to be a little bit more vocal this week. Did you hear about any of the projects that were canceled and all that stuff? I'm sure you probably saw some of that stuff on
Yeah,
Facebook.
I knew about the Batgirl movie
Okay.
getting canceled, and I think the next season of Doom Patrol is also likely not going to happen.
So I just
And
want to run
they're
through.
pulling stuff off of HBO Max as well,
Yes,
because they're merging that with Discovery Plus next year.
I did not
So
know that. So that
yeah,
makes sense then why they're doing
yeah,
that.
and public service announcement: if you have like free HBO Max through like your AT&T internet, like I do, or any other number of like free HBO Max subscriptions that were given out with other services, yeah, say goodbye to that next year, because I guarantee when they
Yeah.
relaunch this thing as the combined HBO and Discovery Plus, that's their loophole to get out of giving you free HBO Max anymore. You're going to have to pay for it.
That's a good pro tip. For
Also,
sure.
related to that, today was I think it was Q2 earnings for Disney, and they announced starting in December, the $8 Disney Plus subscription will have ads. And if you want ad-free Disney Plus, that'll cost you $11 a month. Because Disney Plus has been unprofitable since inception, and this is how they're going to make it profitable. Because now their subscriber base is so large, they know we'll all pay $3 to not have ads. So now they'll start earning money with Disney Plus as opposed to losing. But that's neither here nor there. It's just related to streaming service news. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I just want to run through some of the projects, and like a lot of this stuff is kind of like murky, like Doom Patrol. I don't know if that's been outright canceled from some, and I've like looked at a bunch of different sites. Like that one's a little bit more uncertain that I don't know about, but maybe leaning towards cancellation. That one's a little up in the air. Okay. Batgirl, we know, canceled.
Mm-hmm.
$70 million. They were in post production of this.
You know why they did that?
It test screened horribly, and Zaslav said there could be irrevocable damage to the brand.
Oh,
that is what he said. What is your rationale? Yeah, I mean
I have no rationale. I only know what was released in the press statement, which said, we would lose less money by writing it off and never releasing it.
And you were 100% correct.
Which is also, I mean, I'm sure it's factually correct, but the thing that you just shared is like the real reason.
That really, yeah, like that made me like, whoa, we've never seen a film be like this close to release and post-production. And I've never like seen in print someone say like, this is irrevocably damaging to our brand. At the Ward household,
I think that's kind of a good sign though, too.
Well,
you know, I'd rather they learn before release.
We're going to get into this. So
okay. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
Scooby-Doo 2. Us at the Ward household were devastated because we love Scooby-Doo.
Understandably so.
Wonder Twins. There's a Wonder Twins project that got
I couldn't
canceled.
care less about that.
Strange Adventures, helmed by Kevin Smith. I'm sure he's crying somewhere like Kevin Smith always does nowadays. I just
leave Kevin alone. That man's been through enough.
He has been through.
He doesn't need you piling on.
I've definitely done a heel turn on Kevin Smith, but I'm glad he's alive and with us. I know he had some medical issues that were very serious, and that's very scary stuff. But yeah. The Flash ending was season 9. Are you still watching it, Dave?
Hell no.
So amen to that. So those are the ones that I know, like, kind of cut and dry what's going on. Up in the airs. Blue Beetle, probably leaning towards cancellation, but we don't really know.
Isn't there only one Arrowverse show left now?
So there is
after Flash gets canceled, I mean.
So the only one would be Superman and Lois, but they also said Superman and Lois will be like completely disconnected from the Arrowverse now. Like they're going in like a different direction and doing
Perfect.
its own thing. Yeah. So the Arrowverse is effectively dead with
Got
Flash.
it.
Like it's
Got it.
over. So Supergirl, um, probably leaning towards cancellation. I don't know if you knew the rumor with that and Batgirl of what they were going to try to do. Apparently, in Batgirl, they were going to kill off Michael Keaton, and there was going to be no Batman. It's going to be Batgirl, and in Supergirl, they were going to kill off Superman, and it was going to be Supergirl. So two female leads, Batman in the Batman Superman kind of roles, and that was kind of what they were hinting at possibly doing. That's pure like rumor and speculation. So I don't want to. That's not factual or anything like that, but just some hearsay for
I
you.
didn't even know that Michael Keaton was in that Batgirl show, to be honest.
Yeah, he's in the Batgirl. I think it was going to be a movie. He's in the Batgirl movie. There was
So not the Arrowverse show.
No, this was a movie.
So you didn't specify that. You were talking
This was a
Arrowverse
movie.
shows, then you just started talking
Sorry.
Batgirl.
Yeah,
I
this
thought we were
is that
talking the
Batgirl
Batwoman
movie.
Arrowverse show.
No. This is that
Got
that
it.
that got canceled. That got canceled over the summer.
You're right. It did.
Batwoman.
You're right. I forgot because I actually retweeted a GoFundMe to save the show and said to please don't save it. I forgot about that.
So, also another CW show, Gotham Knights. Did you see the trailer for this, dude?
No. Dude, the CW Arrowverse stuff completely lost me. The last season of Flash that I watched was the last season of anything Arrowverse that I watched.
That was the most CW of CW trailers I have seen in a long time. So that is probably going to get canceled as well too. Pretty much anything on the CW is getting axed because they're probably going to sell the CW. So like all that stuff is probably going to go bye-bye. Any of those kind of affiliated shows outside of Superman and Lois that's doing very well, everything else is done. And even with Superman and Lois, they're like, you're in your own universe, you're doing your own thing now. The only other one that's up in the arrow, I'm leaning to your shirt. I am praying to Oa right now. We don't know if the Green Lantern show on HBO is going to be canceled or not. I really hope it isn't. You think it? Okay. Well,
I think I saw somewhere that it was likely canceled.
Well, Parallax is taken over and Oa's destroyed. Our last hope has been stuffed out. So
maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe I'm wrong. I get things wrong. I've gotten several things wrong already in this episode, and we're 12 minutes in. So,
but I can't even crush you because, like, I can't even crush you because, like I said, like I've seen certain websites where they're like Supergirl's dead, and then other sides are like, no, it's still alive. So, like, we don't really know until they like make it official or say something. Like or like if it's on like the Hollywood Reporter, I trust that. You know, like one of those kind of sites, Variety, they normally are pretty accurate, but like some of these other like hoo-ha websites, it is what it is. Like it's all over. So okay. Batgirl was axed. I'm going to go on a little bit of probably of a rant right now.
Okay.
The movie that I think should be canceled out of all of these is this Flash film with Ezra Miller.
Agreed.
Ezra Miller is outside of his mind. I don't understand how they expect and I'm normally pretty good at this. I can separate an art from an artist. Whether someone has political views that I don't necessarily agree with or other views, if their art is to a quality and a standard, I've learned myself personally, this is me personally, I have learned to separate an art from an artist because ultimately we always end up finding out stuff that's happened to these people down the line. So what are you going to do? Like burn your collection and all that? There are exceptions to that. Things that involve children, I can't roll with that.
There's more than just that become unforgivable in some ways.
No,
and some of that is exclusive to some of the communities that I'm a part of. You know, the length of the rope of forgiveness is much shorter in some of those communities that I'm rolling with. But it's situational because, you know, in some cases, yes, I think you do need to separate the art from the artist. And in some cases, somebody is such a piece of shit that can't and shouldn't.
Sure. So I think it's kind of like case by person or whatever,
Mhm.
however we all want
Yeah.
to, however we want to do it. Like I might support something that Dave is like, oh hell no, like I'm not doing that. But like it kind of is what it is. I think when you have clearly shown a track record of just being a bad human, I don't understand how they think people are going to separate this film from this actor. I'm not going to go see it. Michael Keaton Batman is in it. Michael Keaton Batman, that was the first movie I've ever seen in the movie theater with my father. I refuse to see this movie. I'm not
It
going to see it.
it might end up going direct to HBO Max, maybe. Maybe they don't do theatrical release. I don't know.
I I mean, yes, anything can change at the it can anything can change at this
Even
point.
then, I don't know if I'd watch it, to be honest,
I don't know
because
if I'd watch it either. Like I just
Ezra
29th.
Miller is just like they need help.
They
And
need
no,
help.
I don't want to I don't want to correct you, but I will mention that I'm fairly certain within the last several months Ezra Miller has changed which pronouns they go by. I think Ezra Miller goes by they them only pronouns now,
Yes.
no longer he him. So
Yes.
just FYI on
I
that.
misgendered them. I have that in my notes, but yes. They need
That's okay.
help.
It happens. I mean, at least you acknowledged it.
No, no.
I
They
I slip up sometimes too with some of my friends that have started to go by they and them, and catch myself, and I don't do it the next time. Hopefully,
yeah, I mean, I think I think from people from that community, they're pretty forgiving as long as you're not like an asshole about it. And like you're not trying to be, you're slipping up, and we try to do our best, like,
yep.
and I think that's for my interactions, that's kind of what I've had. But regardless, um, they had a karaoke incident on March 29th, screaming obscenities at people and getting into a fight. April, second degree assault, hit a woman with a chair in his residence. June, accused of grooming a minor. And you sent me one.
That's the one. That's the
Yep,
one.
yep, yep, yep.
That's the one.
August 10th. You sent me this one. Felony burglary.
We've all stolen some shit in our
Dude,
lives.
the minor one, I mean, when you start messing with kids, like you said,
But
that
grooming is one that is largely unforgivable. And
so
I say largely, I should say unequivocally, because I don't think there's any instance where anybody can reason away grooming as, well, they've learned their lesson. I don't know about that. It actually just happened very recently within the community that I am a part of here in Texas, where somebody that was in a band near here, um, it was made very public that uh, he was a groomer. He had groomed some girl that he met when he was 13, and he was old enough to know better. And it was swift and instant. Every band that he was a part of, he was those bands not only like kicked him out, but they also all stopped being a band. They just said, we'd rather start a new band and not be associated with this person's name because this is disgusting. And every single person that heard about it agreed. I just don't see how you can do
there's
that.
yeah, there's not much leeway for grooming. I mean, it is kind of what it is there.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that you just don't come back from.
So, in my opinion, this movie is DOA. It's not going to probably make much money. I think there's a large portion of people who know what is going on with Ezra Miller and are not going to support this movie. Um, I think
Well,
it should be
there's two right
canceled.
here.
Yep. I think it should be canceled. And more importantly, the Snyderverse is dead and buried, so let it go. In the overall scheme of DC,
Well,
it's done.
DC can't seem to figure out if it is or isn't.
So, with that said, you got Aquaman, that one's still on, and then Black Adam with The Rock is
Let me
still
call
on.
Aquaman what it really is.
What's Aquaman?
Aqua Bro. He's still
Aqua
reliving the glory days of when he was in a frat in college.
Aqua Bro is on. Aqua Bro is on. So I just want to read very quickly what David Zaslav said in this earnings call recently,
Okay.
and I kind of want to hear what you think.
Okay.
So I don't know. This is probably new to you because I'm way in the weeds with this stuff. So I just want you to process and take this in. So this is Zaslav. We have done a reset. We've structured the business. There will be a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. It's very similar to the structure Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Kevin Feige at Disney. We think we could build long-term, much more sustainable growth business out of DC. And as part of that, we're going to focus on quality. We're not going to release any film before it's ready. We're not going to release a film to make a financial quarter. We're not going to release a film if it's not working. The focus is going to be how do we make each of these films in general as good as possible. DC is something we can make better. We're focusing on it now. We have some great films coming up: Black Adam, Shazam, The Flash. We're working on some of those. We're working on all of those. We've seen them. We think they're terrific, and we think we can make them even better. That's what Mike DeLuca and Pam Abby of Warner Brothers' new motion picture heads are doing. So, in this call, I like the idea of a 10-year plan because I don't think anyone at DC has planned anything. You can have that go from the films. You can have that go extend that to the publishing line. I have not seen a plan. 2, I am all about quality over quantity in my life. I don't know if that's just because I'm getting older or whatever, but I would much rather have a quality product than a 50 Marvel shows. And we've gone through this. I would much rather have that than 50 Marvel shows you rush out. The CGI looks like garbage, and you're just forcing things down people's throats. And that's not just a shot at Marvel. That's everything. That can extend to everything. Quality is always better than quantity, in my opinion. I
Well,
just went on a little rant.
in some cases, I think Marvel, or rather Disney, is kind of forced into oversaturating the Marvel market because they have literally nothing else to put on Disney Plus to justify
Right.
paying that $8 a month, soon to be
You're
11.
Not, you're right. You're right about that.
It's Star Wars and Marvel is the only thing anyone's subscribing to that thing for because they have no other original content that's aimed at adults, and really they just have the back catalog of Marvel and Disney movies to lean on. There's nothing else on there that I ever watch or will ever watch.
And now that you say that, like, it is a very hollow, probably the most hollow of all the subscription services. Like, what is there?
Not much.
When you become apathetic to Star Wars like me, like, so that's half of the projects that are going to come out. And Marvel's on a case by case basis with me. Like,
even Star Wars, they're hardly doing anything on Disney Plus that's Star Wars related. They've done 2 seasons of Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan, and I didn't even finish Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
because you will never convince me that a 10-year-old girl outran all those adults that many times. You think I'm not stupid? She can't do that. That was slapstick at its worst. Count me out. Anyway, that's not. We're not railing on Disney right now. We're railing on DC.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the CGI in the Flash the past couple years. You cannot debate me and tell me that is a quality product.
It is hokey at best.
It is hokey at best. And like when you see, like, I know you're not a Superman guy or whatever, but like I see the Flash, and then I watch that Superman and Lois show and watch like the opening of that show. You can tell they had the HBO Max budget because it was a CW HBO Max joint.
Oh yeah,
and you can tell.
Absolutely,
you can tell where the money is.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think about that statement from Zaslav? Like, what is that?
Allow me to translate.
Yes, please.
Let's translate from C-level executive speak to what it really says. What it's really saying. Everyone, we have seen what Marvel has done in the last 15 years, and this is as close to acknowledging that we have screwed up as we will ever get. But here is the plan to copy what they have done. That's all he's saying, as far as I'm concerned.
So it's a concession speech.
Essentially, it's a concession speech with a side of I'm also going to copy your homework.
So my thing is, I'm fine with that concession speech. Honestly,
Me too.
I uh something I read is like he wants to not just because he's my boy, but he wants to do like more of an emphasis on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and making those like the core characters, which they are the trinity of DC
Are you
Comics.
telling me that they didn't and haven't already been doing that? What does
They've
that what does that even mean?
they've
That's the
but
only
to
three characters they put any time and money into.
but apparently to do it right this time.
See,
And
now I'm back out again because of statements like you're telling me that the Snyderverse, which included the following movies prior to Justice League: Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and Batman versus Superman, was not a focus on Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
they have made a concession, and I think Superman, much the way of Captain America, if you don't get Superman right, the whole thing doesn't work, man. If you don't get Captain America right, the Avengers doesn't work. So they have to get. It's up to people smarter than me to figure out Superman and figure out those dynamics because like they have to get that character right. They got Batman right. Batman they do fine
But
with.
did they really get Batman right? Because how many different trilogies of movies and one-offs you got? Now you got the Robert Pattinson movie that's going to get a sequel, and it's like that this doesn't fit into anything that is connected to anything else. So they're connected all or stop. No, stop pretending because this halfway in, halfway out on connectivity is killing me.
So there's another statement, and this was actually made today. They want to have his doctrine is we need to make sure we get paid. And this was in, I believe, a Variety article. They need to stop hemorrhaging money. They need to stop losing money on projects. Like the emphasis needs to be on making money. Some of the bullet points there. Going back to theaters.
Okay.
Linear TV experiences. So are they getting away from their whole like Justice League thing? And
linear TV experiences,
like a linear TV experience. So not I don't know. That's what the man said. I found this one. I thought this one was very interesting. Being more open and licensing to third parties.
ugh,
Not in regards to films. I can very easily see DC Comics being licensed out in the near future. I could very easily see that happening. And I don't know how I feel about that. That could probably it could be a good thing, it could be a really bad thing, but yeah. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
I'm confused about this linear TV thing because you Google linear TV, there are multiple definitions that all say the same thing, which linear TV is basically TV that is broadcast over traditional cable network, not digital. That can't be what they mean. There's no way they're
No,
talking about going backwards in
no.
technology.
I think saying telling like more linear storytelling, and not this Marvel multi-universe all expanding. Like, does that mean Robert Pattinson Batman is still alive, just doing his own thing, and then
So
they
how is
do
that any
Superman?
different than what they've been doing for the last 15? Because nothing they do is connected in a meaningful way anyway.
I feel like they try to connect it, but it doesn't connect.
I mean, like, so what
Yeah.
is like, what do you like? The solution can't be, oh well, nothing is gonna connect at all ever, because then you're losing people. You're losing anybody that loves the Marvel formula, that loves DC characters.
Okay,
That's a
never
lot
mind.
of people.
I just pulled up the article I just skimmed, so he just says I think he's meaning the traditional television experience. The longevity of traditional TV as a cash generator and a great business model for us for many years to come.
I, that doesn't make that doesn't make
AK,
sense.
AKA getting away from streaming services. I
Why
don't
would you
know.
do that? Like, why would you? That is the most ludicrous strategy I've ever heard.
Pay people to pay someone to fund your programming. I guess
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know.
never going to pay for cable TV again.
Yeah, you're yeah.
I cut the cord years ago and I'm never looking
I ain't going
back.
back. You're never going back. Yeah.
I don't know what that they possibly hope to accomplish.
I don't know.
I mean, go put it on cable. I'll never see it. That's fine.
I mean, it'll come to a streaming service you have at some point.
Will it though?
I mean, if you have like a Hulu, like if you have Hulu, like well, it'll be on there. But if
I
you don't
don't.
do any
I
of
don't have
that, yeah,
Hulu
if you don't do
anymore.
any of that, then
Hulu wasn't
I
worth
don't
it to
know.
me anymore.
Yeah,
And now I don't know what's happening with Hulu because Disney owns 66% of Hulu.
yep,
And now it seems like they don't want to pay for the other 33% like they're supposed to in 2024. So no, who knows if Hulu is around in 2 years?
yeah. I it's just an interesting time. It's a very interesting time with these large corporations. Um,
Man, this everything that you've said that DC/Warner Brothers is saying they're going to do doesn't sound to me at all when I take all of it in. Like I thought that initial statement from the CEO at the during the earnings call that sounded encouraging to me, and then everything you said after that kind of smashed that way of thinking. This is just really sounds like a fake plan, not a real plan. This sounds just like more disconnected ideas, which
I
is, I
mean,
guess, what they're looking for.
the proof I guess will be in the pudding to see how it kind of comes to what comes to fruition. Because you're right, like
Yeah, I mean,
the first statement sounds like we're going to copy Marvel and we're going to do everything Marvel does, but we're going to do the anti Marvel and do the same things we've been doing. That I mean,
doesn't
we're
make
gonna
sense.
have we're gonna have Ben Affleck as Batman, but at the same time be filming a Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. Like, uh, much like their publishing line with the whole infinite universes, multiple storylines. When you have all this stuff going on and it's not connected, this is what kind of happens.
Yep,
Nothing matters. What if nothing matters? Then what's the point? I mean,
yep,
Marvel got a tremendous amount of buy-in from us because all this stuff was connected and it all mattered back in the day, and I
yeah.
guess still now it does as well too.
I
But
mean, yeah, they're losing me a little bit with some things. It took
yeah,
me a long time to get through Ms. Marvel. And I still think that could have been 3 episodes instead of 6.
but did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed 3 episodes.
Okay,
First,
all right,
first, second, and sixth. I liked
okay,
3, 4, and 5. Eh.
okay.
I think they could have told the same story in 4 episodes, probably. But that's not the model is 6, and that seems to be the way that every show has to be that's not called WandaVision. It's their 6 episode shows, and that's just how they do it.
I think like you too. I'm a little skeptical. Like if they really do, like I said, quality is the utmost importance for me. So if he follows through with his plan, like kind of initially stated, I think DC is going to be in good shape. One, will he get to be there for 10 years is one thing. Like
Yeah.
that's it's great to say you have a 10-year plan, but like when the first two movies of your new cinematic universe tank, there goes your 10-year plan.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
like
when the
what
when the board of directors gets nervous because you're still unprofitable after 2 years of your 10-year plan, it's going to be somebody else to finish out the other seven,
exactly.
seven
And
or eight,
that's
or
and
just change it.
I just feel like that more so like I'll give Disney props. I hate the direction that Star Wars is going in for the most part, but they've stuck by Kathleen Kennedy, MCU, whatever, but Kevin Feige's there. The same people have been there running these things. DC has had so much upheaval, corporate takeover, corporate, different corporate overlords. Like, it's just, they have to get it on the same page. And it's really a shame. Like, it's a shame
You know,
because they have some great characters.
when I was working in retail, and I was a district manager for several years, as you know, and one of the things that um, we always kind of got told, or we always talked about a lot, whether it was like to our store managers that reported to us, or that our regional director to the DMs in my region, talked a lot about planning. And if you don't have a good plan, it doesn't matter how well you execute it. The plan has to be good. So before you do anything, make sure that you have a sound plan to achieve whatever expected result you want to achieve. And it doesn't sound to me like DC or Warner Brothers has a clear end goal in mind. And if they do, they're not sharing it, because everything that you've said that they've said has not been a definitive statement of, we are going to grow a multi-phased connected universe of shows and films the way that Marvel has done so. And I don't know if that's pride getting in the way, or they truly don't believe that's the best strategy. But man, it doesn't sound like there's a really good plan in place. So who cares how well you execute if the plan's not good? To me, this sounds like the plan's not good. And the way they keep changing direction every few years, that backs up the idea that the previous plans have not been good either, because they're not sticking with it. Or they're realizing that they're just bad plans and they have to abandon ship. But, at some point, the plan was, we're going to create a connected universe of films, and we got garbage. You got bad movies. You got Suicide Squad, the first one. I don't care what anybody says. Batman versus Superman is one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Of all time. I almost walked out of that movie twice.
Wow.
That was a terrible movie. Superman said his mom's name was Martha, and that was enough for Batman to stop beating on him. Martha.
That Doomsday, dude. That Doomsday creation.
That was not a Doomsday creation. That was a Doomsday abomination.
Mark Zuckerberg, Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Eccentric.
Turning Zod into Doomsday. Such a joke. Such a joke of a movie.
I mean, I feel like, I didn't hate Man of Steel as much as the next guy, but I feel like
I didn't hate it either, but
I feel like the only good movie was Wonder Woman. Like, that was literally the only good. The first one. I haven't seen the second one.
Second one was terrible. I've already ranted about the second one on this show before. I forget what episode it was. It wasn't a DC episode. It was something unrelated, and I got on a tear about how awful the second Wonder Woman movie was.
Yeah, and I just, part of me, whatever, and I'm just gonna speak on it real quick. So I don't want to. I know we don't really get into it that much, but we talk about representation and all that. And
yeah. Sorry, I'm just so tired. I keep yawning.
No, you're good, man. I just think it's like I think it's so disheartening and disrespectful to, like, we can't get a decent Wonder Woman movie, man. Like, we can't. They can't get you. And that was kind of your rant, was like, if there was ever a time for that strong female superhero, now is the time for that, and they cannot get it together.
Yeah, that's okay. Marvel's got enough of those to go around.
Yeah, Marvel can pick up your slack, but yeah, it's just,
yep.
Can I get a John Stewart Green Lantern? Like, can I get that? Can I, instead of like making Superman black, can I get an established black character? Can I get that? No, we can't get that.
You cannot. I mean,
it's lazy, man. It's lazy. I'm sorry, it's shit's lazy. It is,
and DC is kind of They're
That's their
doing the
thing,
same
right?
thing in like in the comics too. Like they've created, I don't know how many Green Lanterns have to come from Earth, but like they are clearly not satisfied until every Green Lantern is from Earth because they just keep adding to the core.
Yep.
Randomly just picking. They got Jessica Cruz, they
Simon
got
Baz.
Simon, they got the new girl. What's her name? She's the one that's like 13. Can't remember her name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Plus, you
It's
still
not
got
It's not JoJo Mullen. That's the Teen Lantern is her name, but I don't know her real
yeah.
name.
I can't remember it. And then obviously they have John Stewart, Hal Jordan, and Kyle Rayner. So we're up to what 7 Green Lanterns from Earth. Oh, and then there's the
Guy Gardner.
other one from Earth. That was in the 12-issue series, the one that's an adult that just came out of nowhere. So go surprise, I'm also a Green Lantern.
The black woman, is that what you're talking about?
I
That's
forget her name.
JoJo Mullen. That's
Oh,
her.
okay. So
That's
that's
JoJo
8
Mullen.
Green Lanterns from Earth.
Yeah.
Every other planet has like 1, if they're
Yep.
lucky. Earth 8.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. But they keep. I mean, they killed Green Lantern when they let Garth Ennis write it for me.
Not Garth Ennis. Grant Morrison.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Don't slander Garth Ennis.
Sorry, Garth.
Like that.
I meant Grant Morrison.
I caught that one quick. We got Garth. I want to save your pride there. So, well, yeah, man, that's DC. I'm glad that you were able to translate some of that
I don't think
level.
I translated it very well. I was really just taking a jab at him, but
executive suite babble. I mean, I truly do hope that they get on the right page. You're definitely a little bit more skeptical than I am. We shall see.
Past behavior is the best indicator of future results. Past behavior dictates that they're going to make a bunch of bad movies with a couple good ones sprinkled in here and there. It may be connected and maybe won't be. Good luck figuring that out.
All right.
Is there anything else you wanted my take on? Any other like news or anything that you had on the list?
No, I think we got into it. I just wanted to talk about this state and some of these statements and kind of see kind of what your thoughts are. I had my thoughts, but I wanted to know what your thoughts were because I know you're not like in the weeds looking at that stuff all the time. So I wanted to just an unbiased kind of opinion. So
this was fun. We'll be back in 7 days. Till then, take care of yourselves. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you for your time. Sometimes we post on TikTok. I think that's everything. My name's Dave.
My name's Matt.
We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Peace.